Hello to anybody that finds this. I just want to give you a warm welcome to the newest upload on the Deep Echo YouTube channel, where, despite the name, we actually never talk about anything deep ever. So if you feel like sticking around, feel free to grab a seat by this trash fire over here, grab your comfiest pair of headphones, and grab yourself a pumpkin spice latte. Me, I have a nice glass of warm Earl Grey tea. Because let me tell you, I think I'm going to need a little bit of caffeine to get through this one. Now, I assume if you found this channel, you've been following the pink sauce fiasco just like I have, and I just want to talk about what's been happening recently, because it feels like the roller coaster with this lady just never ends. Now, if you somehow haven't heard of the story, or you just need a little refresher, don't worry, I'm going to go over everything, and if you don't want to listen to all the exposition, I completely understand. Just hop to this timestamp in the video and you'll get to all the new stuff. So our hero that we're going to follow in this story, not really much of a hero there. Her name is Chef P. Yes, that is, I'm actually saying her name right. Her name is Chef P. She cooked up this bright hot pink sauce that got the attention of a lot of people. And since it got a lot of people's attention, of course Chef P decided to try and start selling this stuff. Problem is, I don't think we could have found a worse person to sell a product. So the sauce is made with milk and raw honey, and I don't know if you know this about milk getting spoiled or left in the heat for too long. It's not exactly the most appealing substance in the world, but still Chef P shipped her sauces without refrigeration. So yeah, you can imagine what kind of horrible eldritch abominations people received in the mail, if they received it at all. Half the time it seems it would just blow up in the truck. And that's not even touching on the fact that when it comes to raw honey, there's a very real risk that it could give you botulism. Granted, according to an actual food scientist, the pink sauce was likely too acidic for botulism to develop, but I don't know, man. When your product looks like this, when you get this in the mail, I wouldn't really want to take my chances. This thing looks like a tumor. Like, even if it didn't give you botulism, I would 100% believe it giving you cancer. Now, this would be bad enough, but Chef P, the legend that she is, she never does things halfway. If you actually look on the label of the pink sauce, it really makes you wonder if the person typing this was like okay, like if they needed medical attention during this. Just taking a look at the ingredients list, you'll see that a bunch of them are misspelled. Distilled Vinegar is one of my favorites, and also let's just take a glance at the serving size over here. 444 grams. I'm going to assume that's more than a single bottle can give you. You can imagine the types of reviews these little biohazards were getting. Albeit there was one reviewer who goes by Allie. Her review was almost positive. She did say the pink sauce was not that great, but she was a lot nicer than I would have been. In fact, she even did all of us a favor and sent a sample of the pink sauce to the lab to see what could actually go wrong if you took a little morsel of this stuff. Now, believe it or not, Chef P herself actually noticed Allie's review, and if you would like to see how that kindness got repaid, well, Allie went on a talk show with the pink sauce lady, and Chef P decided to gaslight and villainize her along with the host and every member of the audience. You know, if you're ever in the mood to try and just decrease the amount of time that you're on this earth, just go find some clips of this talk show, find a re-upload. Yeah, legit, every time I watch these clips, I feel like my organs are trying to shut themselves down. The backlash was actually so bad that Karamo, the host, yes, I'm pretty sure it's that Karamo from Queer Eye, the host actually removed all of the clips from that episode off of YouTube and posted a follow-up about 4 months later. Now, he did apologize to Allie, but also a bunch of people, let's just say it felt a little weird, especially considering the fact that this episode aired around the time that the pink sauce was getting into Walmart. Yes, a company named Dave's Gourmet decided to work with Chef P to actually put this thing on the shelves. Now, they did fix the recipe, so you know it didn't look like an absolute extraterrestrial danger, but unfortunately for them, they kind of ended up playing a game of whack-a-mole where they quelled one danger, a new one reared its head. So one day a GoFundMe appeared, and would you look who created it? It was Chef P. Now that's bizarre. You figure the pink sauce would be doing well if you looked at her TikTok. But reading the description of the GoFundMe gave us a very interesting picture. She claimed after Dave's Gourmet lied to her and didn't pay her the royalties she was owed, as well as not being transparent about her records, refusing to reimburse her marketing expenses that she paid for, she has gone bankrupt and is now struggling to provide for her children. Now let me tell you, I genuinely feel bad for the kids, but, you know, something about this GoFundMe and something about Chef B really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. They smelled a little something in the sauce, shall we say. Now, I cannot attest to the authenticity of this statement, but a YouTuber who goes by August the Duck, he has a lovely voice by the way, he claims that in a previous TikTok, Chef P claims that her mom actually died. But if you look in the GoFundMe, it says that the reason she's even able to get by is that her mom is giving her money from her disability check. This was all we had to go on for a little bit, but Chef P kept posting to her TikTok about this, and she actually did a live where she said a bunch of interesting things. The live is now deleted, but shout out to the plainest Jane for being able to record this. Chef P kept ranting about how a mysterious they kept deleting her posts. And she also requested people to tag blogs, tag basically any outlet to get the word out. She also claims that mysterious they lied to Walmart just like they lied to her, and also starts going on about how the new sauce is actually poor quality.
Like, if I was running this, like, everything would be so pristine, so amazing. This is supposed to be the Beyonce of the sauces, not Whitney Houston on crack.
No. Oh, okay, Chef Pete, no, I'm not letting that slide. When you were running this, you were shipping out what looked like horror. You know the appetizer from SpongeBob? That's what she was shipping out. It would not have been pristine. It would have been an absolute just disaster, even more than it already was. Also, don't you dare do my girl Whitney like that. Also, I just want to touch on the fact that the new pink sauce recipe, it has a bunch of inconsistent coloring. Apparently the reason they do that is that they use a real dragon fruit for the pink, and that leads to inconsistencies in the color. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. At least that's the explanation Dave's Gourmet gave. Also, Atozi made a good point in one of his vids. I'm actually thinking of linking a vid of his in the description because it has a very good, more comprehensive backstory of the pink sauce. But anyways, in one of his videos, he started talking about how the pink sauce lady is saying she's not being paid the millions and millions of dollars she owed. Now, now I'm afraid we're gonna have to use some math here. So the bottles normally, when they're not on clearance, they're about $8, and she bragged at about the time of that live. She had bragged about selling over 200,000 bottles. Now we crunch some numbers here. That's gonna give her about 100. Oh gosh, I'm bad at numbers right now. $1,600,000. Now that is a lot of money. It is a million, but it's not millions and millions. And I didn't even take into account the amount of money it took to produce the stuff, to market the stuff, to do a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I highly doubt she even made that. Now our friends at Dave's Gourmet have been disputing her claims for a little bit now, but they actually somewhat recently decided to talk to the publication Insider, where they actually shared bank statements that prove that they were paying her what she's owed. Now did this stop Chef P? Of course it didn't. This lady's like a friggin' steamroller. Whatever's in she just keeps going, dude. Now, she claims that the money Dave's Gourmet was giving her was actually going to Airbnbs and hotels because she was homeless at the time. Now, I just want to touch on this, which a bunch of other people have already touched on. When you get money from a job, or basically any source, that money's going to go to pay bills. At no point did Dave's Gourmet say they were going to, like, pay for her to stay in Airbnbs and hotels. I would be honestly shocked if they did. It's not like Chef P was being paid by Tarte to go watch Formula One or something. She was getting paid royalties for her pink sauce idea. Other complaints include that, okay, the pink sauce lady, her royalty was supposed to be paid before any of the expenses, and the royalty in quarter one, so they followed all the rules, but then you get to quarter two, if the royalty is like wildly different, and not to mention that she claims that the rules for the royalties are constantly changing. They don't have anything set in stone. They're just making up new rules every day, as she put it. She also took umbrage with the fact that Dave's Gourmet didn't like any of her marketing ideas. Granted, after hearing her ideas, I completely understand why they didn't take them. Like the one she gives here in this live, she wanted a Barbie-themed campaign, but to skirt around copyright, she said, "We're gonna do a subliminal Barbie theme. We wouldn't say it, but it would be there." And whatever you say, sis. Anyway, she goes on to say it feels like she feels free from prison and she can actually create now. She feels like the company took on something that they just could not handle, and then that it bogged her down, and it bogged the pink sauce down and stuff like that. Also in this live that Chef P does, she touches on the speculation that she blew money that she got from Dave's Gourmet to get cosmetic surgery. That's not really important to anything. I just thought that was funny. Now the pink sauce lady is already not seen very favorably, and they could have just left it at that, but Dave's Gourmet came in with an absolute freaking monolith on their website. Bro, at this point, reading about the pink sauce is like reading the freaking Epic of Gilgamesh. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more than caffeine to get through this one.
Little more apple juice. Oh, no, that's way too much.
Alright, I'm gonna paraphrase this document a bit. I'm gonna try to speed run through everything. Alright, so it says here The original agreement was that Chef P would do the marketing on social media, and then Dave's Gourmet would try to fix up the recipe so that it wasn't actual like bombs in the freaking trucks, and they could actually like sell this in Walmart. Dave's Gourmet paid her $45,000 as part of the agreement so that they could start pursuing the sales of the pink sauce, as they put it. Now it said in the agreement Chef P would be responsible for all of the refunds for all of the sauces that were made before Dave's Gourmet made the agreement. But the problem is, Chef P's company didn't have the money to refund people. Her PayPal and her Shopify accounts were closed because they got so many bad complaints. And actually, it says in the document, Dave's Gourmet felt that she withheld this info intentionally. And even after the accounts were opened, they didn't have the money. So Dave's Gourmet was like, okay, we're going to give you $30,000 to take care of these dang refunds. They also say that the Chef P's royalty, it depends on how well the sauce does, and there's also what they call milestone payments if certain goals are met. So that's one of the reasons that the royalties can fluctuate. But let me tell you, that's not the only reason. They cover a little bit more later. So in the fall of 2022, Chef P was actually struggling financially. So Dave's Gourmet is like, you know what, we're going to help you out. We're going to give you some advances that are going to total up to $40,000. Now, Atozy actually did some digging to figure out what she was posting at the time of fall 2022. She was on a yacht drinking Don Julio. Now, could this be an old picture? Maybe. I don't know, man. There's nothing that Chef P has done that has painted her as a very intelligent person.
What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products.
Not to mention, according to this little monolith that they've written, the advances that she blew through all of them. And so Chef P requests another advance because she was about to get evicted and she needed to buy stuff for her children. So Dave's Gourmet was like, all right, we're going to give you more advances. This time they all totaled up to $5,000. I just want to say, throughout all of this, they were like, hey, just so you know, these royalties, these are meant to be supplemental income. Please continue doing your thing like an actual job. So it isn't even like Dave's Gourmet was like, hey, you're going to make boatloads of cash. They were like, hey, get an actual job, and then you can use our money that we give you as like a little icing on the cake. Alright, anyway, moving on. Chef P was like, oh, you know, I want to know what's going on at Dave's Gourmet. I want to see what y'all are doing. And then they're like, okay, we can do that. Let's set up weekly meetings for you to attend so you can see what's going on. She attended like 2 and then just stopped coming. And then this freaking maniac is like, hey, Dave, buddy, can I get like $10,000 to throw a birthday party for myself? But not only that, she's like, hey, can you guys pay for my shoes and my dress, please? Together they're gonna be like $1,400, a little over that. And then of course Dave's Gourmet is like, no, even if you're gonna use them in TikToks, what she did say, she's like, I'm gonna use them in TikToks. It'll be for marketing. Dave's Gourmet was like, hey, can you tone down the budget, please? And it says here the pink sauce lady, after they said no, she was like, alright, I'm just gonna stop collaborating with you. No more marketing for you. Alright, so Chef P started to submit business expense reports, and then you look at the reports, they're not business expenses, they're for things like groceries and then a few sneakers that she bought. And then Dave's Gourmet was like, hey, can you not commit fraud, please? They tried to ask her questions about this stuff and she didn't give them any info. And then it says here, the original I can't say the word quarter. I guess I just did it. Q1 royalty was supposed to be $666 and $86. You know, that number's ironic considering the absolute demon time this lady's on. But anyways, they decided, Chef P is apparently struggling a bit financially. Let's give her more money. The $10,000 we're going to deduct off the royalty. Let's just let her have that. So her royalty this time was $10,000, and then the $666. And then apparently that's the reason that Q2's royalty was so different, because that's when they deducted their cut. Alright, we're almost done, y'all. It says here Chef P started requesting payment for her social media marketing. Now, this was not in the agreement, so Dave's Gourmet was like, excusez-moi. So they're like, what expenses did you incur when marketing this stuff on social media? And she refused to comment on that too. Anyways, about now is when Chef P started posting all this stuff about Dave's Gourmet treating her badly and trying to scam her and stuff like that. And then Dave's Gourmet was like, no, we're not having this. We will literally pay for your attorney to go over the contract to show that we're following this thing. And then she's like, nah, You don't need to do that. Alright, we're done with this finally. Alright, I'm retaining a healthy degree of skepticism. I think I am very reluctant to believe either of these parties off the bat, but whoever's in the right, I hope you win. And this has become my soap opera, man. Forget the young and the restless. This is the dumb and the sauceless.